Well, for a civil registration vital statistics system to work well, I think you need to keep in mind what it's there for. And it's there to serve two kinds of audiences. And one is ordinary people, people like you and me. And we go and we register births or marriages or divorces or deaths. And we get in return a legal document. And that document, like a birth certificate, proves who you are. It says where you come from. It's your identity. And it's an identity the government defends on your behalf. So that's a very important constituency that has to be satisfied. And then the other, of course, is the state. This is a state responsibility to know who its people are, who's being born and who's dying, and you know, those very basic essentials that you would expect any country to know about its own population. So in order to make these systems function well, it has to be a service to the people that the people know and appreciate and use. And it has to be something that produces information of use to the government, which is vital statistics component. So the question, I guess, that arises is, how does a government make sure that this can happen? And in our experience, and I've worked with a number of countries over the years, the government needs to make a very important commitment to the success of these systems. You can't just neglect them. They really matter, and that's a very high-level political commitment that needs to be made. And if you look at low-income countries that have resource constraints, really what they do is ensure that the government takes this on as a priority. And then, having done that, you also have to make sure that everybody who needs to be involved is involved. And that's a lot of different ministries. It's not just, you know, local government where you go and register at some local office, but it's might be also the National Statistics Office. It's the Ministry of Health. Health is a very important actor in this because so many people are born in the health sector and many die in the health sector. So they're very important. But then you have the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, because we all travel, people travel, they migrate or they go on holiday, and sometimes things happen and they need to be able to register a birth or a death even when they're abroad. And you need to ensure that migrant populations can do this. So there are many different parts of the government that are involved and different stakeholders among communities. So it's bringing all of these disparate groups together to make sure that the systems can work. I would add perhaps one other thing, that it's really important that the public trust the system. So the system has to function well in terms of preventing fraud, keeping people's information confidential, ensuring privacy, confidentiality, especially on sensitive issues. So that's also very important.